The Altra Mont Blanc is Altra's racing shoe. I initially bought it because I wanted to try something a little lighter, but most of all, I was curious to try the dual density foams, especially the Ego Pro. At the time, I felt that it ticked most of the boxes: lightweight, responsive, but not very aggressive, with a plate that can act as a rock plate and an accommodating toe box. I reached 476 km in the shoe, and this is my long-term review. The usual disclaimer: I bought this shoe myself and all opinions expressed in this video are my own. Why did I not reach 600 kilometers in this shoe like most of the others? I'm sorry, but you'll have to wait until I speak about the things that could be better. As usual, let's start with the things that I like. Dual density foam. The same structure as the Altra Mont Blanc Speed, with Ego Max as a carrier foam and Ego Pro sandwich in between. I think this combination is excellent because it creates a shoe that is very versatile, responsive, but most importantly, not too aggressive. This shoe feels light, and compared to some Altra models, it does feel good. It does not weigh your feet down or feel heavy when your legs are that tired. The third thing that I like is the upper is very accommodating, the material is soft, and it does an excellent job keeping debris out. The trails on Mount Etna were covered with lava rock, and most of my friends ended up with their toes and feet all black. I used the Altra's lightweight short gaiters with this Mont Blanc Carbon, and my feet had no black dust at all, so the upper does an excellent job at keeping dust out. The next thing that I like is the toe box, which is a typical Altra. It is accommodating, especially for a racing shoe. Maybe not the broadest, but even with my wide toe box, I never had any issues. The last thing is the outsole. The outsole is grippy, however, it is grippy only in ideal conditions. I understand that it might be a racing shoe, so choice of materials is determined by its weight rather than longevity, but this is the main reason why I'm not doing the review at 600 kilometers and instead I'm doing it much earlier at 465 kilometers. At 350 kilometers it was already showing heavy signs of wear and tear, including the toe bumper, especially the front part. It was peeling off, coming off either on the left shoe or the right shoe. The overlays started coming off, material on the inside starting tearing up, foam started caving under the ball of the foot for both left and right shoes, and lugs started wearing out at around 300 kilometers, especially in the heel and some parts of the outsole as well. You maybe might see it is as well coming off. I am aware that the terrain I used this shoe on was not the most forgiving. Locally, we just have rocks and stones. Lava stones on Mount Etna were sharp, and Lavaredo was not much better. So these might have contributed, to be honest, to the sharp decline in durability. Having said that, I would appreciate if some of the materials, such as the lugs, the midsole and the overlays, could have lasted a little longer, especially for the price point. I was considering replacing the outsole with another Vibram, but I did not find it feasible to pay around another additional €80 to change the outsole when the midsole unfortunately was caving in. Another thing that could be improved is the length of the laces. I had to cut them off a little bit because they were too long. And the last thing that can be improved in this shoe, maybe the toe bumper. I appreciate a sturdier toe bumper that can protect the toes a little bit more when you kick something pretty hard. Do I recommend this shoe? In short, yes. This shoe is fun and comfortable. It might not be the most aggressive, the most energetic shoe, something like the Prodigio Pro, but it ticks many boxes. The toe box is definitely one of the most important aspects. I'm always happy to end a run or a race without destroyed toes. I can say that the foam combination in this shoe is much better than most Ultra shoes. It is slightly forgiving, not overly squishy, and it has some energy return. Of course, the Altra Mont Blanc Speed is a contender too because both of them share almost all the DNA. However, I bought the Mont Blanc Carbon on sale, so it cost approximately the same as the Mont Blanc Speed. Now, the Mont Blanc Speed will take over and become my fast day shoe. Only time will tell whether it can take the crown from its sibling. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to comment below. I would appreciate if you subscribe to the channel and share these videos with some running buddies. Until then, enjoy your runs and adventures. See you in the next one.